probably heard of the banyan tree, but in Sanatana Dharma, it's called Akshayavad, which means the undying tree, the immortal tree. It's a massive symbol of eternal life and spiritual power. But here's the kicker. What if I told you that behind all that reverence, there's some seriously profound science? All right, let's jump in and figure out why this sacred tree is, well, a true force of nature. So, that brings us to the big question, right? Why is it called the immortal tree? Is that just, a metaphor? Or is there something real, something biological going on that gives it that incredible title? Well, we're about to find out. Okay, first stop, let's talk about the banyan as a total powerhouse for nature. I mean, this tree doesn't just exist. It actively shapes the entire world around it. It's a life giver, a creator of balance. For starters, just think of the banyan as a massive, living, breathing air purifier. I mean, its canopy is so huge and dense. Through photosynthesis, that process where plants turn sunlight into food, it's just pumping out incredible amounts of oxygen. It's basically a giant oxygen factory, cleaning the very air we breathe. Now, in ecology, there's this really cool term for a species that basically holds an entire ecosystem on its back. It's called a keystone species. And as you can see here, if you take it away, the whole system can just collapse. It's the linchpin. And you guessed it, the banyan tree is a classic example of one. And here's exactly why it's a keystone species. See, unlike a lot of plants that only have fruit for a short season, the banyan's like a year-round, all-you-can-eat buffet for so many animals. We're talking birds, monkeys, bats, the list goes on. So if you were to remove just one banyan tree, the ripple effect would be absolutely huge. You could actually see local food chains start to fall apart. It really is the anchor of its ecosystem. And it gets even cooler, literally. Beyond just providing air and food, the banyan is a natural air conditioner. No joke. Thanks to its incredible shade and a process called transpiration, which is basically the tree breathing out water vapor, the temperature right underneath its branches can be 3 to 5 degrees Celsius cooler than the area right next to it. It creates its own little microclimate, a natural refuge from the heat. All right, now for the part you've been waiting for, the science behind its immortality. How does a tree actually live forever? Well, it's not magic. It's an absolutely brilliant biological strategy for survival, and we're about to break it all down. So the whole secret to its super long life comes down to these things, the prop roots, or jatian. These are wild. They're roots that actually grow down from the branches, out in the open air. And here's the amazing part. They start absorbing moisture right from the humidity in the air before they even touch the ground. Once they finally do reach the soil, they plant themselves and start getting thicker. And this is how that incredible cycle works. The roots drop down from the branches. They absorb moisture. They hit the soil and take hold. And then they transform into new, thick, woody trunks. What this means is that a single banyan tree can just keep spreading outwards, creating what looks like a whole forest, but is genetically still just one single tree. The original main trunk might eventually die, but the tree itself, it just lives on through this huge network. That, right there, is the science of its immortality. As if that wasn't enough, this amazing root system also makes it a guardian of the land itself. That deep, sprawling network acts like a giant net, holding the soil together and stopping it from washing away in heavy rains. It's also super important for keeping the local groundwater table healthy. It's a true ecological engineer. Okay, so let's recap. It cleans the air, feeds the entire ecosystem, and can basically live forever. But the banyan's list of benefits doesn't stop there, not even close. It's also like a walking, talking pharmacy with powerful properties that have been recognized by both ancient Ayurveda and modern science. Just take a look at this. The bark and the leaves, they have powerful antibacterial stuff in them. That milky sap or latex that comes out of the leaves is a natural anti-inflammatory, used for ages to help with things like joint pain. And for centuries, people have used its twigs as a datun, basically a natural toothbrush that has these astringent properties that are great for strengthening your gums. Amazing, right? All right, we've covered the ecology, the immortality science, and the medicinal side. Now, let's connect all the dots. This is where we see the science we've just talked about slam right into ancient spiritual practices. And trust me, this is where it gets really fascinating. So let me ask you this. Can a religious tradition, a ritual that's been done for thousands of years, actually have a real, measurable health benefit that's backed by science? Well, when it comes to the banyan tree, the answer seems to be a huge yes. The key is a Hindu practice called parikrama, which is the ritual of walking or circumambulating around something sacred. Now, when that sacred thing is a massive banyan tree, think about what you're doing. You are intentionally walking right into its huge oxygen-producing bubble. You're surrounding yourself with it. So what's really happening? You're breathing all that goodness in. You are literally bathing yourself in an oxygen-rich atmosphere. That simple ritual of walking around the tree becomes an act of deep breathing, taking in all that fresh, clean air. And that's fantastic for your lungs, for your blood circulation. It's a spiritual practice with a very real physical benefit. And that really leaves us with something to think about, doesn't it? The banyan tree, the Akshay Vat, is this perfect, beautiful example of how ancient wisdom so often has these incredible layers of scientific truth just waiting for us to rediscover them. It really makes you wonder, what other ancestral knowledge is modern science only now beginning to prove is true?